Facepalm America. I'm Beowulf Rockland. FacepalmAmerica.com is where you can go to find out more information about the show, to listen to past episodes, to connect with us on social media. And ladies and gentlemen, I have been remiss. It has been far too long since I have been here to talk about actual current news. We've done interviews, and bits and pieces have come in around the edges. And I've kept things going a couple of times a week, but I have not been here to talk to you directly. And for that, I apologize. There are times when I just have nothing to say. You hear people or see people in real life or on social media talk about having no words. Sometimes that's literal. Maybe we've gotten ourselves into the habit of having to react to every little thing, or react to the things that people online are reacting to. And at a certain point, I'm just dulled by it. I don't know what there is to say about so many of the things that are going on. I don't think that any one person can process it all. I don't think any one person should try to process it all. I don't think it's healthy or good. You see things in the news, and you throw up your hands and you say, what am I going to do about that? What the hell am I going to do about all this shit? And yes, there have been more judgments against Trump. And just today we see Dianne Feinstein, senator from California, has passed away. And we must acknowledge and mourn the passing of each one of us. John Donne was correct. Send not to ask for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee. I wasn't a big fan of Dianne Feinstein, but she was an important person. And she was a trail-breaking person. And that has to be acknowledged. She shouldn't have been there the last couple of years in the Senate, really. And we ought to figure out some way of making sure that those of us, when we reach a certain age where we're not quite there, aren't in positions of that kind of responsibility. It's not fair to the person. It's not fair to the rest of us. And so now Gavin Newsom will appoint someone for the interim until the 2024 election takes place. It's a safe Democratic seat. Well, safe in the sense that Gavin Newsom will appoint some very, very moderate, very, very corporate, very, very middle-of-the-road person to replace Dianne Feinstein. And I suppose that's in keeping with who she was. We don't have to worry about a big revolutionary change here, unfortunately. So that's what's going on in the world. What did fascinate me a little bit in terms of major news stories over the past few weeks is the ruling against Donald Trump in the state of New York, or more specifically, the Trump Organization. It seems like the Trump Organization is going to be likely to be dissolved in the state of New York, where it's based. It's one of many rulings against Trump. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm not going to read the 35-page ruling in this case. But I'll go over the basics here. Because I want to get into talking about what's referred to by this one story as the corporate death penalty. I'm against the death penalty for people, but I'm for the death penalty for corporations. And I don't know if you remember, it's 11 years ago now, when Mitt Romney was running for president. He said, "Corporations are people, my friend." They're not. That's just a way for rich people to make more money by creating legal phantoms to do their bidding. But let's talk about Trump. Trump and New York. Experts are calling it the corporate death penalty. And what happens next is uncharted territory. In a stunning decision Tuesday, a Manhattan judge found that Donald Trump committed widespread, long-standing, and ongoing fraud at the Trump Organization, and ordered what experts in New York financial crimes say amounts to the dissolution of this company. Now, we've known from reports from excellent journalists such as David K. Johnston and many others that all sorts of illegal and unethical shenanigans were going on with the Trump Organization. I mean, there was an awful lot of smoke, and it turns out there was fire, legally, once it was processed, once all the delays were pushed back. And there's still going to be more delays. Because if you have enough money in this country, you can delay stuff almost indefinitely. But it's amazing, and it shouldn't be amazing, that they're actually considering dissolving Trump's company, the Trump Organization. The penalty awarded on behalf of New York's Attorney General Letitia James is so extreme. It's not extreme. It's not extreme to dissolve a company. And it needs to be done more often. And it used to be done more often. We'll get into this. But I love the way that this article phrases it. It's through Yahoo News, but I think it's originally from Insider or Business Insider or whatever affiliate organization happens to derive from that set of companies. But the penalty is so extreme, it says, that Trump may fight James and the judge for years before anything actually happens. So there's been a ruling here. And it probably won't happen because our legal system is so screwed up that, again, this can be delayed for years. In some cases, in other cases, decades. Decades you can delay justice. You can do that in the United States of America. But not because it's so extreme. Because our justice system is fucked up. That's why. The penalty is so rare that the only previous time it's been attempted on such a grand scale, when James sought the corporate death penalty in her 3-year-old ongoing lawsuit against the NRA, has failed. That's another incredibly corrupt organization, the National Rifle Association. And we've seen that through news reports, and we've seen that through what has come through the legal proceedings that Letitia James initiated against it. It's an extremely corrupt organization, one that stands in opposition to the things which the majority of the people in the state of New York stand for. And so they have every right to dissolve it, and they should dissolve it. And the same is true of the Trump Organization. The ruling by New York Supreme Court Justice Arthur Engoron spends some 35 pages, again, which I will not read, describing Trump's frauds and disassembling his lawyers' arguments. It yanks the corporate charter in 2 short paragraphs. Yanks the corporate charter. You can do that. You see, in order to become a corporation, you have to get the permission of the people through the government, because they represent us. And if you are engaging in activities which we disapprove of as a people, if you're running contrary to things which we as a society have said are okay, then you can't do business anymore. And we'll yank that charter, that approval to do business. Business is not the be-all and the end-all. It's amazing how we've gotten this idea stuck in our heads that business is immovable and inevitable and invincible. It's not. A big part of its power is that it's worked very hard to project a myth of invincibility. And yet somehow it keeps coming back to we the people for money when it fucks up. It's not invincible. And anytime we choose to, that we have a mind to, that we focus on doing it, we can pull the rug out from under them. We've done it before. We can do it again. And we should. The first paragraph orders the immediate cancellation of any certificates, meaning corporate licenses, that are held by Trump and his 2 adult sons, the Trump Organization and its underlying LLCs. The second paragraph orders that within 10 days of the date of this order, the parties are directed to recommend the names of no more than 3 potential independent receivers to manage the dissolution of the canceled LLCs. So the court is saying, we're going to take this company apart because it's fraudulent. Yeah. Aren't you just tired of saying, yeah, this is wrong, this is corrupt, this is illegal, this is fraudulent, but there's nothing we can do about it? Aren't you sick of that? Aren't you sick of that? And the actual execution of this, again, as the story indicates, may be years away because our system is that fucked up. But isn't it good to hear a judge say, yeah, this fucked up, and we're going to destroy this thing? It's not invincible. It's not. We can take it apart. We can enact the corporate death penalty. The people, through its representatives in government, can do that. Attorney General Letitia James has alleged that Trump exaggerated the worth of his assets, which we've known for decades, to banks and insurers by as much as $3.6 billion in a single year. We know Trump is a liar. We know Trump and his company